basic requirement for a contract to be valid. A contract creates legal obligations between one or more people to give something or provide a service, whether they are individuals, companies, institutions, among others. It arises from the moment one or more people agree to be bound with respect to one or the other to deliver something or provide a service. The parties involved in the contract are responsible for establishing the clauses, agreement, conditions that they deem appropriate, but this pact in no case can contravene the laws, morality, or public order. For a contract to be binding, you have to keep in mind some key points where drafting a contract: the capacity, the consent, the object, the cause, and that it complies with the current legislation. Here, I will explain the basic requirements that we must take into account for a contract to be valid. All contracts have 4 elements, I think, but you want us to explain the first one, and it's consent. I think that it's consent of the contracting parties. The contract are perfected by mere consent, and since then they obligate the fulfillment of the agreement. The consent is manifested by the offer, the acceptance of the offer, and the causes that is the subject of the contract. Before drafting a contract, the parties have to have the same idea about what they will write in the contract. In legal terms, this is what is known as mutual consent. Both parties have to consent to the terms of the contracts. Consent given by mistake, violence, or intimidation will be void. Then it's the object of the contract. The object is essential for a contract to be valid. All kind of things that are determined as to their specie, which are not outside the trade of man, will be the object of a contract. All services that are not contrary to the laws or goods custom will also be the object of the contract. Then we have causes of the contract. This is the reason why it has led the parties to formalize the contract. Therefore, in the contract, it is essential to determine the cause. For example, in water's contract, it is understood by cause for each contracting party the promise or provision of a thing or service by the other party. And finally, we have capacity. Capacity. Check that all parties to the contract are legally capable of participating in it. A contract will be invalid if it is signed by an unemancipated or incapacitated minor. Capacity is normally determined by the age of the staff and their mental capacities. If a minor has the interest in being a party to a contract, in most of cases, a guardian will have to do so on behalf of the minor. A disabled person cannot be part of a contract since the law requires that all parties have to have the mental capacity to understand all the causes of the contract they are signing. A contract is a bilateral arrangement that establishes a legal relationship between the parties involved. An agreement is a voluntary agreement that is not subject to law. There can always be an agreement without a contract, but for a contract to be carried out, there must always be an agreement. Unlikely the agreement, the contract seeks to create obligations that can be legally modified, transformed, or terminated. First, the offer must be completed. To cancel an agreement. First, the offer must be completed. That is to say, it must contain all the elements of the contract to be concluded, so that the simple acceptance of the recipient may lead to the formation of the contract. This requirement does not include the possibility that the offeror leaves the determination of any of the elements of the contract to the discretion of the recipient of or a third party. For example, the offer for sales contract might contain a range of units of the goods to be sold, so that the recipient decides how many units to buy. Likewise, the offer must clearly show the intention to contract. In other words, the declaration of will must be formulated in such a way that one accepted the proposed contract is perfect. If the requirement of the full offer is met, the intention of the contract is presumed. However, this presumption can be disproved if the lack of the intentional element is evidenced by the way in which the offer is formulated, or by reservation expressed by the offeror. In that sense, they are not valid offers because they do not imply an intention to contract. Those statements made for boasting, for educational or entertainment purpose, those that have a no obligation clause, and those that are merely informative. Termination of offer. Offers may be terminated in one of the following ways: revocation of the offer by the offeror, counter offer by offeree, rejection of offer by offeree, lapse of time, death of disability of either party, or performance of the contract becomes illegal after the offer is made. The general rule is that the revocation is effective only when it is made known the offeree. Until it is communicated to the offeree directly or indirectly, the offeree has a reason to believe that there still is an offer that may be accepted. The offeree may rely on this belief. If the offeror seeks to revoke the offer, but the offeree accepts the offer before notice of the revocation, a valid contract is created.